Welcome to the Dr. J.J. Thomas Podcast.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Dr. J.J. Thomas Podcast. Really happy to have you here today with Josh Izewski and I. Josh has become a good friend quickly in the last couple months. Josh is a professional runner, runs for Zap Endurance, and has a great story that we're going to share with you today. So thanks for coming, Josh.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
You know, our podcast is for kind of two sets of audiences. It's clinicians who want to do better and provide better care for their patients. And so in that, our podcast will often either give technique stuff or give, perspective on physical therapy. And we also interview athletes like you to give them perspective on not just the way we do things here, but I love having professional athletes and elite athletes like you on because, number one, you guys, you rehab better. Guys like you rehab better than anyone, it is your job and you rehab like it's your job. And so I just think for both clinicians and patients, it's really good for them to see that process, to see how well people can do. I think often people are like, oh, how did that basketball player get back so fast? Or how did that runner get back so fast? And it's like, well, they did it with a whole lot of work and a whole lot of dedication and a whole lot of commitment. And that's really why I wanted to have you on today because you really did a phenomenal feat recovery from, which we'll get into the details of.
You did.
You did. We're going to have this a lot. Josh and I keep pointing fingers at each other. Let's before we get into the phenomenal feat that you did, I do want
just
to share.
Just the race.
We're agreeing to disagree.
Yeah.
I want to share with them a little bit about your background and your story. I mean, everything from, I think it's cool how you weren't always a professional runner. You did try stuff before that, right? I
grew up swimming.
Yeah.
And then ran the end of my high school and ran in college. And then after college, I think I was just burnt out from running, but did triathlon professionally for a little over 3 years. And then after 2016, retired from triathlon because it was, quite frankly, too much exercising.
It's great, yeah.
It's a lot of exercise.
And you exercise a lot, so that says a lot.
Yeah, it's long days of exercising, and I just didn't have the same, if you're going to exercise that much, you need to have that, passion for it, and if you don't have it, it's like, you're not putting everything into it that you can. So I came back to running then, and I actually lived with my parents for a year while I was trying to find a team, and they were supportive of that, and I joined Zap Endurance in January 1st of 2018. So
awesome.
And I've been there since.
Those guys are great. Yeah.
Living in North Carolina in the mountains in Boone, right near by App State.
And that's really how we met was that when you were, just to give these guys the background, that when you were training for New York Marathon, that was right around that.
It was the beginning, about 8 weeks or no, it would have been about, no way. It was about 5 weeks out from New York. This hurricane came through Boone and Western North Carolina, and I mean, I was lucky. I was displaced. My place flooded, but nothing bad compared to most of the people, and had happened down there. But the training venues and everything were also destroyed.
Sure, and
that's not the main focus.
Even
to fix.
Outside, you couldn't train. Really, everything was flooded and
the trees down, trails are washed out, roads were washed out. So ended up coming up here and finishing the build up here into New York.
Right.
And I think must have been.
I think it was the week before that I first met you.
I think it was the week of the race.
And that's, I mean, even that, I love, I love the network of PTs. I think one thing that I do encourage PTs in general is to network with colleagues all over the country because, Abby reached out to me about you, and Abby is a phenomenal therapist in North Carolina as well that Josh had been working with for years and years. And
since 2019, I think.
Yeah. And when he had to come up here so that you could finish your training, Abby called me and was like, I need some help with my runner is dealing with some issues right before his New York City Marathon race. And can you help him out? So I just love those relationships. I think they're really valuable. And especially when you have that respect and rapport, we were able to sort of tag team your care at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you two being able to, I guess, what's the word? Not selfish, unselfish. That's the word.
Well, yeah, I mean,
and
that's it.
Unselfishly work together
Yeah.
and, help each other and help me.
But that's what I try to tell like clinicians, there should be no egos with what we do. Like everybody's going to have their strengths. Everyone's going to have some things that they're better at than others. And if we can all play off our own strengths to help our athletes, then everybody wins.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was really cool. And then, but what was interesting about that is that since I saw you the week before the marathon, I think
it was like Tuesday or Wednesday, and I was racing that Sunday.
Yeah, it wasn't even a full week.
Yeah, 5 days before, and I think it was like that last workout I came in, I was like, something's wrong.
Yeah.
Something's wrong. We got 5 days to maybe figure this out, but it might be not enough. Time's not on our side.
Yeah, and you were great about that, I think. And I quite frankly, I was like, okay, I'm going to do what I can. You had at that point when you were running, you even had numbness down into your foot, right?
Yeah.
From the
down to my toe, down this leg, in my hip.
Yeah.
When I running and sitting, like I'd get my toe go numb when I'm running.
Yeah. And I think even, obviously you guys are so in tune with your striking patterns, but I think you even said, like, even my striking pattern is off. Like, I can just feel that.
Yeah, once you try and the body's going to figure out how to get the motion or the movement it needs. So then that causes issues. And that's kind of then what happened in the marathon.
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll get to that. But I remember being a little bit torn because I didn't know you that well. And when I teach dry needling to other clinicians, there's always this discussion of, when an athlete is coming to you right before an event, you kind of have to know how they're going to respond. Some people get sore for longer than others. And I didn't know your body that well. So I had to kind of err on the side of caution when we were treating, which was the right move, because last thing I wanted to do was metabolically tax your body in a way that didn't allow you to run the marathon to your best potential either. So
don't add insult to injury.
So we did what we could, and then I just remember I remember seeing your post after the New York race, and I didn't know you that well, but my heart like wrenched for you because you were so disappointed in your race, according to your post.
Yeah.
That I was like, I wanted to really, at that moment I was like, I need to help this guy. Like, I knew that it limited you from doing your best.
Yeah. I mean, we only get, 3 chances a year, and with a marathon. I mean, other races you can race many times, but a marathon is 2-3 times a year, and you put 12 weeks in, it's like that's your day to go perform.
Yeah.
That's your day to get paid.
Yeah.
That's your day.
Yeah.
That's your day.
That's your day.
There's only 3 of them in the year, maybe, and it was the second one of the year that did not go well.
Yeah.
So last year I was 1 of 3 for marathons.
Yeah.
But I think, there's always, if you didn't learn anything from it, I mean, obviously walking away from it, we figured out a lot and were able to make a huge turnaround.
I think I'm glad you said that, because one of the things that I've been so impressed by with you, which I've told you, but I want them to know, is that I treat a lot of professional athletes, and most of them do almost everything I say. But Josh, you did literally everything that you have. I mean, to a T, everything that we talked about in terms of what we do in here, what you do on your own, what exercises you do, what frequency you do them in, the consistency of it. Like, just a little background, you guys. I think the first week I met you, I did have you doing 100 banded squats every day.
Two sets of 10. 5 times a day.
Yes, 2 sets of 10 banded posterior chain squats 5 times a day.
Yep.
And Josh is still doing those every day, in addition to all the other work that I've given him. But But the cool thing is that you're still doing
Which I have my brother doing now too.
Oh, yes, let's go.
Yes.
That's great. Yeah, so, but it is truly that work that you did and the dedication and commitment that you exhibited, which I think partly came from your disappointment from New York, right? Like, you're that kind of person anyway.
Yeah. I mean, New York was disappointing race, especially knowing where I was going in the fitness and that I had.
Yeah, like you had the physical capacity.
And it's just, I think it also too is just a frustration of just like, I have like this big engine and this ability to do this, but there's always something that like comes up or pops up. Like,
right.
And this is definitely one that can be controlled. It's not like it was weather or something you can't control.
Right.
This is like,
when the low back, when the L5 radiculopathy came.
There's got to be someone or something we can do to figure this out, so it's not happening at the same time before every race. And when we identified a lot of the issues and we had specific things, and some of the exercises were not ordinary,
not traditional,
not traditional, but they worked.
Yeah.
And you could even just the one where I'm on my knees and I bring my leg up. It's like, wow, I can't do that. How do I expect myself to even be able to run 26 miles plus the 0.2.
Yeah, and really, really freaking fast, by the way.
So how do you expect yourself to be able to do that if you can't do this simple movement? And it's not even an exercise, really. I mean, it's just a movement.
It's a regression of an exercise. Yeah, so what Josh is talking about is the quadruped knee slide one that we do. That's a regression of the Frogger hops. So after New York, Josh was like, I'm committed. Like we did the movement evaluation that first time. So I think you got a glimpse of like the way we do things in terms of whole body movement assessments.
Yeah.
And then I think after the race, you and I connected again and you were like, I'm ready. Like I'm in.
We got nothing to do but figure this out. We have hopefully 11 weeks at that point, we were thinking. I'm dying to get to that point where, so we talked a little bit about the disappointment, but then in 11 weeks you were able to recover from a true L5 radiculopathy with nerve numbness. So the PTs know that's pretty significant. Yeah.
So recover from the nerve injury and build your mechanics of your body up to a point where you actually even PR'd at this Houston Marathon.
Yeah.
Which is freaking incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So let's rewind back to that. So I remember that quadruped knee slide one that we did. That was one of the first ones I gave you. And that, it was an aha moment for you. I remember you being like, whoa, like my one leg goes up really easily and my other leg doesn't.
Yeah.
And I think I
don't remember which one was which, but
I think it was the left that doesn't. I think it was the left hip drive. I actually don't remember either now.
Yeah.
But
either way, there was
definitely one, and it's good that you don't remember.
Yeah.
Because we've taken that deficit and then built upon it to higher level exercises that still give you that stability pattern that you need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the hardest part of that specific time coming off of New York was also being like, I also have to maintain fitness. So we have to figure out how to do all this, building up, doing all of this also while trying to build back my mileage and get in shape to run a marathon in mid-January.
In 11 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think we didn't actually even start until about 9.5 weeks or so.
Yeah, you were just keeping a base.
Because I was like, I need to recover for like a week from this race.
Yeah, it's true.
So it was more like 9.5 weeks of actual PT and strength work.
Yeah.
I don't think
that's true.
Yeah.
I think I was away too that first week.
Yeah, it was the first week because I was down in Raleigh for the first week.
Yeah.
And then I think that like maybe Tuesday or Wednesday when I saw you. So. Yeah,
and just so the audience knows, like, I think really the game changer for your body, and we see this a ton in runners and really all athletes, but especially in runners, is a lot of times that missing link is that stability of the upper trunk.
Yeah.
You know, and
pecs and shoulders
and yeah. So you guys, we did a movement evaluation. We did a treatment right before this, and so you'll see in the treatment we did together that Josh, every time he extended with his arms overhead, it didn't move as far as it did with his arms down. So there's still this shoulder piece, but mechanically he looks so much better.
I feel better.
Yeah, but we're gonna keep working those things. But
I mean, it's funny too, like, because I remember the one time we were in here and I was having, I think it was just random day, random workout or something. And it might've been like December, and I was having like hip issues here.
Yeah.
And we just worked on this pec.
Yeah.
I think it was the day it bruised.
Oh yeah.
And you're like, that'll fix your hip. And I was like,
whatever.
I trust you. So I'm not going to question it. I know better at this point. And the hip was fine then. Like I walked out. I mean, I was sore afterwards, but I walked out and it was like, running, I feel great. I'm limping through the grocery store now.
Yeah.
And
I think that's the other thing I loved about working with you though, is because I still love about working with you, is that you hit a point where you're like, okay, I tried so many things for this and it didn't really change it. So you were completely open to this concept that seemed very, treating areas that seemed unrelated.
Yeah. And it wasn't completely foreign, but it was definitely not anything that we had done or I had done in the past to treat any issues. And like I said, coming off the marathon 2 weeks ago, or not even 10 days ago. Yeah. Just even like neurologically, cellularly, I don't know if you can feel that sort of thing in your body. Yeah. But it feels like that now that I'm not like anywhere close to broken down the way I used to be. Yeah. Like there's no way a week after running a marathon that a week later I'd be going out to run 18 miles and be like, oh, that was fine. Yes. But I did that on Sunday.
I love that.
Yes,
and that's because we're training out of the pattern.
Yeah.
So like you're not getting that same overuse because we're training the muscles out of the pattern of running so that you're stronger in the pattern of running.
Yeah.
How about
Which is a different way of thinking about it that I didn't always ever think before. So I'm like, I'm always doing this movement.
So I should train that movement.
Why would I train anything else?
Right. And I think it's important for PTs to hear that too, because I think what's hard sometimes for clinicians is that when an athlete comes in, and athletes like you are so smart and they're so in tune with their body that if a clinician doesn't have the confidence to follow the movement, then they're going to fall into that same pattern and just treat the symptoms and treat in the same running patterns rather than treat out of the patterns, which is really what they need.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. It worked for me. So
yeah.
I don't have to understand
You're like, I don't care.
You just have to understand it. Like I said, all I have to do is just run.
Yeah.
You have to pick up all the pieces that I leave lying around behind me.
But all you have to do wasn't run, because let's talk about that, because you would come in and I would treat you when you were in town for a full week. I would treat you 2 to 3 times that week. Mm-hmm. And it's not, you guys will see the treatment sessions. They're not exactly a walk in the park. And, but in addition to that, like you said, we did a lot of strength training. We did a lot of body weight, primal locomotion stuff.
Yeah.
Tell me, I'd love to hear your perspective on, I do remember that first week when you went home I started you with just the primal locomotion stuff. And you're like, whoa, this is different.
Well, some of the exercises, I just couldn't even do even my head was not working correct. I don't know, was not working correctly to even do the movements. Yeah. It's because I'm not used to doing anything like that. You're like, I can do the running movement fine.
Sure.
But you asked me to do the sliding bears, I think they were. Those were the walking. Yeah. Yeah. Those were, I was like, I need a mirror. I'm having trouble with this one.
Yeah.
But they, doing them every day, and a lot of times I'm in my living room just doing them with my dogs licking my face half the time.
They're hilarious.
But it made a difference.
Yeah.
I think the only days I didn't do them was if I had a big long run day that was close to 30 miles or so.
Yeah.
But other than that, it was pretty much every day with that's my job. So
exactly. Yeah. Yeah, but it still takes commitment. It's awesome. And then the strength training stuff, that was different too, right? Because it's not so leg heavy focused.
Yeah, it felt like it was just more it's funny because it didn't seem like it was heavy stuff that were the strength sort of stuff you would typically do. But I finished doing it, and it's 25 minutes, and I'm like, oh my God, I am tired. I'd much rather go run a marathon.
Yeah.
This is exhausting.
I know.
But just, and it was also nice too that it's every day is different.
Yeah.
So you're not doing the same thing. So I think that's, even in running, it's you got to keep the body guessing a little bit so you can make different adaptations. The body's going to make the adaptation be like, I'm figuring out what you're doing. Yeah. It's easy now.
That's exactly right. To build resilience, we have to have exposure to lots of different scenarios and feedback and input and responsiveness.
Yeah.
And I didn't say what we did with Josh, you guys, is we had you on the app, on the Primal Physical Therapy app for the exercises. And then, but the way we worked that was like, if you were like,
which is great, by the way, because I don't have any timers. I just hit one or two buttons and
it is so
it's good to go.
Yeah, it's
so
good.
It just rolls you through everything, which honestly makes it a lot easier.
It does. You can just like turn it on.
I can sit my phone, hit it, and then I'm good.
Yeah. I love that. And then but you did a couple times, you said like, if you weren't sure, is my body doing what you want me to, JJ, you would just text me a video, right? And that was perfect.
Yeah. I mean, I have a tripod so I can film it's for my dogs, but
I love
their training. Well, I also texted the dog trainer to make sure I'm doing it correctly. But
you do?
Yes.
That's great.
So.
That's great.
There's a few, and a lot of times there was ones where it's like after watching, I was like, this is what I did. I can feel that I looked like this.
That's right. I do remember those conversations. Yeah, you're like, I could feel like I can't. The one you're like,
it was the those
inverted
push. Yes, those ones. Oh my God, my triceps I think my triceps were sore for like 8 days.
Yeah.
I was like, I can't do this one again because they're so sore.
So that's one of those things where, again, like because you guys are always in this position, a lot of the strength stuff and the body weight stuff, both with weights and without weight, that we need to do is get you out of those patterns. And so that's why that was like inverted press, essentially, you guys. And that was hard for you because you had to get your arms relatively overhead.
Yeah.
And your arms are normally here for a really long time.
I think there was another one that we did when we did the session over FaceTime. It was the one where I was doing like the single leg squat where I had my knee out.
Oh, the pistol squat.
Yes, those. Yeah. Those took me like 3 or 4 rounds
we were doing. I felt like you crushed those as soon as you remembered to cue through the arms. Well, they're so hard.
Because I had to reach out. That was the thing.
And that was another one of those things that like if you just trust that the stability patterns, this is the primal stuff, guys. If the stability patterns, if you let the stability patterns start with the shoulders or the upper trunk, then the pelvis will be stable. But again, you just right away bought in and
I didn't have to think, so it was easy. I just had to listen to what you said to do.
I love it. Yeah, but that's not that easy when you feel like so much is on the line.
Yeah, but I mean, I trust you.
Thank you. That was fun.
Yeah.
So what do we have
Well, we're
next?
not done yet.
I know. That was fun. I know. We're ready for another one.
Yeah.
That's what I know.
We have many more marathons and races to do.
I know. That's before we started recording, Josh and I were talking about his calendar coming up, and I don't know are we allowed to talk about the calendar too much? Okay, good.
Yeah.
And
it's not secret.
I know. I never know. I think I'm afraid of commitment. So I don't like talking about my calendar too much to people.
My calendar is easier. It's just 3 or 4 dates here and there.
Yeah, it's awesome. So you have a couple races coming up.
Yeah, I mean we'll have something low key in like February that'll just be like kind of shake off some rust from the marathon.
Good.
And then we'll do the Gate River 15K in Jacksonville on March 1st. And then the Cherry Blossom 10 miler in DC first weekend of April. And then I'll be back up here for Broad Street 10 miler first weekend of May. It's great. A little bit of a hometown race,
that.
So
it's a good race.
Yeah.
And so what we were talking
a win. That one is also a win that has eluded me. So
yes.
So I have to come back. One of these times I have to win it.
It's going to be this time.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, truly, on the trajectory you're taking right now, the mini goal that you accomplish. I mean, I see it as a big goal, but I love that you're hungry for more. So I feel like you saw Houston as sort of a mini goal.
It's hard to run a race like what we accomplished in 11 weeks or 9 weeks really, but not 11 weeks between marathons.
Yeah.
Being able to not only run a marathon, come back 11 weeks ready to run it, but also heal, do all this stuff
and get back on training.
And do the minimal amount of training that I did do. There wasn't enough days left to get any more fixed. I remember texting you before the race and I was like, or a week before, and I was like, that workout did not go well. Like, I do not know if I'm going to be ready for this.
Yep.
And it was a small PR, but that's probably my not allowing my weakness, maybe, I don't know, allowing myself to be like, yeah, that was good, but.
Well, I think that driven people like you always want more.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think that's how you reach excellence.
Yeah.
Is that you're, I think I think people who strive for excellence do have to be careful to sometimes be like, okay, good job. Like that deserves an attaboy. But I think the reason you are so successful is because you're constantly like, okay, what's next?
Yeah.
But from my perspective, I guess I'm so excited for you because knowing from the physical therapy side how incredible that feat that you did, recovering in 9 to 11 weeks from New York Marathon with as bad as your nerve stuff was, literally coming out of that, healing the nerve, healing your body, and then also getting strong enough and resilient enough to be able to PR, even though, as you say, it was like, a small PR, but still a PR.
Yeah.
And a PR when 11 weeks prior you had, you didn't feel great in a race. It's just, what it says to me is that your trajectory is huge because you're committed to
It's also nice to see that I was very happy to say there are so many issues, because that means it's like, I didn't come to you and you were like,
I don't see anything
I don't really see anything else.
Exactly.
Like you're kind of tapped out here. And,
exactly.
I think, I know you think you can run, but maybe tone it back a little bit.
No, I think you're.
So,
you're
but having the this bag of tools now to use going forward, because I'm not a PT, but I feel like 11 weeks is not a lot of time to actually really do anything.
Not. I mean, truthfully, we can't even really expect to see true strength gains in someone until 6 weeks. So what this says is that we really were able to improve your recruitment patterns in a way that built your performance and your efficiency. And now everything else, that's the foundation. So now if we make an analogy to a building, we've built this cinder block foundation for you. You've built it yourself. I just gave you the roadmap. But you now have this cinder block foundation that's only going to get better and better and better with the continued work that you do because you're you. So it'll be cool. I'm excited for what's to come.
But I did forget though that Gold Coast Marathon, Australia is in July. I forgot.
I'm so excited.
So
I wasn't.
We'll have a few weeks post Broad Street, and then we'll have that time. We can come back up here. We can reevaluate everything. Mm-hmm. You can clean me up, mm-hmm. and we'll go into that build up stronger and hopefully ready to go. There and win down under.
I love that.
So
July is going to be good. With the foundation you have, the manual stuff we do will be great to keep resetting you. But you, as I said, with the strength you're building on your own, you should need that less and less. So you're gonna
hopefully. I guess in an ideal world, I wouldn't have to see you.
I know. We'll just someday we'll go for a run. You can jog and I'll run. I'll be like, I'm trying to keep up, Josh. Yeah.
No,
bring
but
the dogs.
They will outrun both of us.
I know.
Very easily.
Yeah, I know. So good. Well, thank you for coming on.
Yeah, thank you.
And I'm looking forward to what's to come.
Yeah, I am too. I think we have a good plan going forward, and I think that I trust 100% what we're doing, and I think it's gonna, we got 3 more years now for the next biggest race, which will be trials in LA.
I didn't want
Olympics.
to. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, because I would be lying if I didn't say I was thinking about that for you. Because if I said I wasn't thinking about that for you, because I feel like even let's talk about that real quick, because I feel like even last trials you were close. You were 8th, right? And
I was 8th, and even that one there was still just a few things. I had come off the Berlin Marathon with a similar hip back thing. It wasn't quite as bad then.
Yeah.
But I didn't really get into training again until about 6 weeks. It was about 6 weeks out. It was over Christmas that I had my first good workout. And I was like, okay, I got 6 weeks. But even after that, it was just kind of a struggle. Something would pop up here, something would pop up there. I have a bad workout here or there, and it was just,
felt like a stutter start.
Yeah, and then getting to the race, it was there was a moment in the race where one pack moved away and another pack stayed back, and I need to be right in between for where I was.
Yeah, yeah.
So it was a good race. I moved forward well and got 8th, but I still think that there's 72 seconds left out there. That was the difference between 8th and 3rd.
I love it.
So
well, you keep on this trajectory, you're definitely going to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a short trip too out to LA.
I know, and I gotta get there.
Yeah.
I'm getting there this time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
awesome.
But no, thank you for everything.
Thank you.
This closest thing to the magic wand. So
you're too good to me. You're too good to me. Nah, you feel me.
Someone says I don't have a magic wand I can wave it. You do. So, because every time I come here, I've never walked out feeling, I'm sore, but you fix whatever there is going on. So
you're the best.
Yeah.
You, working with you it's really rewarding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same.
So, all right, cool.
All right.
Well, we'll hug after.
Yeah.
For you guys, if you have any questions for Josh and I, please reach out. You can follow Josh on Instagram as well, and follow him with Zap Endurance, and how to reach
and follow the dogs.
And follow the dogs. Actually, we didn't talk enough about the dogs, but
yeah.
But anyway, yeah, the dogs are amazing. And
I think that's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
We'll talk to you next time. Don't forget to hit subscribe so you don't miss more awesome athletes like Josh and their stories.